Hello. So this is going to be an analysis of John Keats' Ode on a Grecian Urn. I'll read through it first and then go back through it more slowly, analyzing different lines and words throughout. Ode on a Grecian Urn by John Keats. Thou still unravished bride of quietness, thou foster child of silence and slow time, Sylvian historian, who canst thus express a flowery tale more sweetly than our rhyme, what leaf-fringed legend haunt about thy shape, of deities or mortals, or of both? In temple or the dells of Arcady, what men or gods are these? What maidens loth? What mad pursuit? What struggle to escape? What pipes and timbrels? What wild ecstasy? Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. Therefore, ye soft pipes, play on. Not to the sensual ear, but more endeared, pipe to the spirit ditties of no tone. Fair youth, beneath the trees thou canst not leave thy song, nor ever can those trees be bare. Bold lover, never, never canst thou kiss. Though winning near the goal, yet do not grieve, she cannot fade. Though thou hast not thy bliss, forever wilt thou love, and she be fair. Ah, happy, happy boughs that cannot shed your leaves, nor ever bid the spring adieu. And happy melodist, unwearied, forever piping songs forever new. More happy love, more happy, happy love, forever warm and still to be enjoyed. Forever panting and forever young, all breathing human passion far above. That leaves a heart high sorrowful and cloyed, a burning forehead and a parching tongue. Who are these coming to the sacrifice? To what green altar, O mysterious priest, leadest thou that heifer lowing at the skies, and all her silken flanks with garlands dressed? What little town by river or seashore, or mountain built with peaceful citadel, is emptied of this folk this pious morn? And little town, thy streets forevermore will silent be, and not a soul to tell why thou art desolate can e'er return. O Attic shape, fair attitude, with breed of marble men and maidens overwrought, with forest branches and the trodden weed, thou silent form dost tease out of thought as doth eternity, cold pastoral. When old age shall this generation waste, thou shalt remain in midst of other woe. Then ours a friend to man, to whom thou sayest, beauty is truth, truth beauty. That is all ye know on earth, and all ye need to know. So now I'm going to go through the ode with an analysis on it, as well as some suggestions as what to annotate on the poem, if you have your own copy on which you can write. So, first couple of things, an ode, just right off the bat with the title. An ode is a lyrical poem which glorifies a particular subject. So in this, on the surface level, John Keats is writing this poem to glorify this Grecian urn. It's not so much, well, what we're going to find is it's not so much that he's glorifying this urn itself, but more what it symbolizes for him. We're also going to find throughout going through the poem that it is a bit of an ironic statement. Also, let's see, a Grecian urn. An urn it's a type of pottery, and all throughout ancient Greece you'll find pots and urns that have art on them. So he is going to be describing within this poem a urn that has this scene on it, and he's going to be describing this scene. Another note on the urn that I want to point out and that you can be thinking about is an urn itself, especially if you're looking at an antique one, it is going to be empty. It's going to be void of anything within it, if I'm using that in the right way. So you can look into that and kind of try and find a deeper meaning there. He's writing an ode to something that in and of itself is empty of substance. Thou still unravished bride of quietness, The thou that he's referring to right there is the urn. He is speaking to the urn. Thou foster child of silence and slow time. So as we're reading this, it's exploring the themes of art and beauty. And so I'll be pointing out what words in there that I circle that kind of may hint at a certain society's or cultural understanding of what is artful, what is beautiful, what is deserving of respect in those regards. So I circled silence and slow time. Is it perhaps implying that art is something that does not need to be broadcasted or spoken about? Slow time, it perhaps is everlasting. It does not age. Those are just some things to think about with those two. Sylvian historian, who canst thus express. So he's calling the urn a Sylvian historian. Sylvian is referring to something that's rustic and representing a woodland scene. So we know that the image on the urn is a woodland scene. And again, the historian, he's referring to the urn as a historian. So it's this entity that can share with the world and express this thing. It's, a historian is a living, breathing, blood in their veins, living thing, and that's how he perceives the urn. A flowery tell more sweetly than our rhyme. Again, I circled flowery and sweetly. Flowery is implying that something is living and producing and part of the natural world. Sweetly, something that is enjoyable, something that is easy to look at. Again, both of those as traits of art and beauty, perhaps, in Keats' understanding. What leaf-fringed legend haunt about thy shape, of deities or mortals, or of both? Here, off to the side, I wrote that is beauty only in life, death, or in both? And can beauty be only in one of those things, or can it be an aspect of, or can life, death, or both of them together be aspects of beauty? And then we have these next four lines. In temple or the dells of Arcady, what men or gods are these? What maidens loth? What mad pursuit? What struggle to escape? What pipes and timbrels? What wild ecstasy? These four lines, it's almost like he's saying, tell me. He's begging this Sylvian historian to tell him, because he's coming at it with this curiosity and this interest in what it has to share with him. Then we have, heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. So, with the heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter, is it perhaps saying that the idea is better than the actual product itself? Is something in theory amazing and beautiful and wonderful, but then in the actual physical manifestation of it, is it falling short? Is it lacking something? And then those unheard are sweeter, so things not experienced by the natural senses tend to be the things that are most enjoyable in life. The physical things are nice and we can enjoy them, but are those unheard things, those more metaphysical, non-temporal things, the things that we don't experience with our natural senses, are those the real sweetness of life, the real art and beauty of life? Therefore, ye soft pipes, play on, not to the sensual ear. And now he's not saying sensual as in lewd or sexual. It's saying sensual, meaning the five senses. So not the ear that actually hears physical sounds in the world around you, but more the inner ear, the part of you that, like the sixth sense almost. So ye soft pipes, play on, not to the sensual ear, but more endeared pipe to the spirit ditties of no tone. So he's saying, play to my imagination. Play to that ear. A quick note on imagination. Art and beauty is the effect that something has on these senses. And then we come to the actual scene on the urn. Fair youth, again I circled youth as perhaps a descriptor of true art and beauty. Beneath the trees thou canst not leave thy song, nor ever can those trees be bare. Bold lover, never, never canst thou kiss. Though winning near the goal, yet do not grieve, she cannot fade, though thou hast not thy bliss, forever wilt thou love, and forever she be fair. So, a bit of translation there. You've got this image of this guy, an attractive young man, sitting underneath a tree. And it's a painting on an urn, so this tree is never going to lose its leaves. It's this permanent image on the urn, basically implying that it's an immortal scene. These characters are immortal. Their landscape is immortal. It is undying. Attractive young guy under the tree. There's this beautiful girl that you are always going to be attempting to kiss, but you are never going to reach that goal. It's going to be forever a state of reaching for that, for anticipating the kiss. But it's saying, don't worry, she's not going to ever get any less pretty. She's always going to stay beautiful, and you're always going to have that pleasure in that anticipation, and she's always going to be pretty. So you're fine. Don't worry. And the question here is this really a comforting thought? Would this permanent state of always having that pleasure of the anticipation, always having yourself and those around you be beautiful, is that really a comfort? Is that heaven or hell? Are you trapped? Or is the real pleasure of life in anticipating things? Isn't the best part of summer vacation the fact that you get to look forward to it? Isn't that the best part of any good thing in life? Isn't that the best part of Christmas or Easter or 4th of July or whatever holidays you celebrate? Isn't that the best part of them, the anticipating? And it's almost as if the price for immortality is immortality. Ah, happy, happy boughs, thou cannot shed your leaves. I'm circling leaves because we're going to come back to it in just a second. Nor ever bid the spring adieu. You are caught in permanent immortality. It'll always be spring. And happy melodist, unwearied, forever piping songs forever new. The person playing their beautiful instruments with a beautiful song. These songs are always going to be beautiful. They're always going to be new, which again begs the question, can something be new forever? A more happy love, more happy, happy love, forever warm and still to be enjoyed. So, note on the word still. Is that meaning yet to be enjoyed because we're caught not being able to attain it? Or is it truly saying unmoving, stagnant? So not still as in yet, as in there's still hope, but is it still as in you are never going to progress at all anymore? Forever panting, forever young, all breathing human passion far above. That leaves, there's that leaves again, but this time it's a change in the meaning, just like the leaves change with the seasons. So just a little metaphor there. You've got this change of meaning, changing leaves, change of feeling. So this is kind of indicating that Keats, his feeling towards this idea of immortality is heaven, takes a turn right here. It changes, just as leaves change naturally with the seasons. That leaves a heart high sorrowful and cloyed. When I type this up for my students, I put a footnote with cloyed, so that is too much excess. When I have this copy of mine pasted at the end. You can kind of look at some of those footnotes. I'm pointing them out as I go through this. So a heart high, sorrowful, and cloyed. You can imagine the sorrow is because of too much of a good thing. It's cloyed, it's too much excess. More is not more. More is less. A burning forehead and a parching tongue. A parching tongue, it implies thirst, and it's almost like something is bland by overexposure. So even if you have a good thing, after a while, it's going to become bland and you're going to thirst for other things. A parching tongue, it's bland by overexposure. It's too much of a good thing. It's too cloyed. It's too much excess. And then this next stanza is a questioning of the permanence of beauty. So who are these coming to the sacrifice? To what green altar, O mysterious priest, leadest thou that heifer lowing at the sky? So again, this is another scene on the urn, a priest leading a heifer or a cow towards an altar where it can be subsequently sacrificed. And all her silken flanks with garlands dressed, describing the cow. What little town by the river or seashore or mountain built with peaceful citadel is emptied of this folk this pious morn? So because it's just this scene, we're just seeing this one moment, he's starting to question more about what is happening. With permanence, is there a really before and after? Is there really a story there? Is there a journey there, or is it just this one moment? And is there benefit in being mortal, in mortality, in that there's the opportunity for growth, the opportunity for actually asking questions that we do not know the answer to and getting an answer. And little town, thy streets forevermore will silent be, and not a soul to tell why thou art desolate can e'er return. And then the final stanza, O Attic shape. So Attic, referring to Attica, which is a region in Greece where Athens is located. So it's like saying, oh, idolized shape, this thing that we are idolizing. He's talking about us idolizing this idea of immortality as, for him, symbolized on this Greek pot, this Grecian urn. Fair attitude. That's kind of saying, like, you look okay. Fair attitude meaning the pose struck by the characters on the urn. With breed of marble men and maidens overwrought. So overwrought, I'm reading this with a double meaning. It can potentially mean that the urn is ornamented all over. It's got all of these images. It's got leaves and flowers and these scenes on it. So it's been wrought with these images. Or it can mean more that emotional anguish felt by the characters on the urn. So overwrought, either emotional anguish or just describing the urn itself, or both. That's the great thing about poetry. There can be so much meaning with just a single word. With forest branches and with trodden weed. So compare that to lines 5 and 6, where it says, a flowery tale more sweet than a rhyme, what leaf fringe legend haunt about thy shape. So we get this beautiful image, and then suddenly we have forest branches, trodden weed, marble men and maidens overwrought, these people in anguish. It's no longer this beautiful, sweet, flowery scene. Thou silent form. So, and maybe I didn't read that correctly. It's thou, comma, silent form, comma. So again, he's referencing the urn, but it's no longer a historian. It's a silent form. It's almost like Keats is saying, you're dead to me. This tease us out of thought, as doth eternity, cold pastoral. So he's saying, I thought this beautiful pastoral scene was going to be awesome, but you're not. When old age shall this generation waste, thou shalt remain in midst of other woe. You're still going to be around. Then ours a friend to man, to whom thou sayest, beauty is truth, truth beauty. This line right here is much debated, and I'm not going to pretend that I have an answer to it. Because the question is, what is true? What is he implying is truth in here? Is the truth that immortality is not all it's hyped up to be? Is truth the fact that there is death, that there is an ending to things? Is that where the true beauty lies? So that's kind of something for you as the reader to mull over and try and come to your own conclusion, or never come to a conclusion, and that's okay too. Beauty is truth, truth, beauty. That is all ye know on earth and all ye need to know. He suddenly starts talking to you as the reader. This whole time it's almost like he's been turned to the urn and talking to the urn, but then it's almost as if he looks out, breaks that fourth wall in poetry, and breaks through and says, ye know on earth all ye need to know. So this poem, in my analysis of it and my reading of it, it reads as though John Keats, the author, was looking for heaven and immortality and then found hell instead. And it brings up the question that you can ask yourself is whether the most beautiful things in life, are they beautiful because they're permanent, or are they beautiful because they are temporal, because you know they are going to end? Do you love anything in your life because you know that it could be taken from you? If you had your favorite meal every single day for the rest of eternity, would you not hate it at a certain point? So I hope you find this helpful if you are having to read this either for my class or for another class, or if you're just reading it for the heck of reading classic poetry, which I highly advise. I love poetry, and if you do find this helpful and would like more like this, just let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you around. Bye.